What's up, guys? My name is Suicidal Grind, I hope. Sometimes you forget your name. But, today we're gonna have a little chat, about mainly my music. But first off, I would just like to say, holy shit, guys. What the hell? So, obviously, I have reached 700 subscribers on the channel, and I'm sure everyone that actually, gets my community posts are aware, or just checks my channel in general. But, this is so crazy to me, because from, 4 to 500, wait. No, not 4 to 500, I don't remember that one. But from, 3 to 400 subscribers, took me, 3 years. And 4 to 5, I don't remember, honestly. I know 5 to 600 was 6 months, which for me was insane, 6 months was wow, subscribers in 6 months? What is this? And that was even during one of my more inactive, focusing on music eras of this channel, which is mind-boggling and mind-blowing, and all those adverbs and words and terms, all of those, just smash them all into the comment section, all the kind of mind-blown words, put them all in the comment section if you want to, but from 600 to 700, it has been only 4 months, which to me is absolutely crazy, beyond recognition. Because I'm not necessarily the type of guy who does this for the views, but the fact you guys keep flooding in faster and faster each 100 subs makes me question how, but it also makes me question you guys' sanity a little bit, because you're watching my videos after all, and I would be a little concerned about your sanity if you're actually watching my video this much, which clearly you guys are, so I'm questioning you guys' sanity. But most importantly, thank you for watching my videos and subscribing. And as obvious as it could be, even just leaving that random comment, even if you're just saying Glenn Fricker would piss his pants if he heard your song, not because he'd be scared, because he'd shit him, because he'd be pissed. Get it? Bad joke. But even if you put that kind of bad joke in the comment section 10 times or so, that still boosts my channel in the algorithm. I mean, it's the facts. I'm spitting facts right now. I don't know how to put it. I'm spitting facts. That's just how it is, sort of. But it's kind of funny to me because, it's kind of fascinating in a way too. But I want to get to the music. So yeah, that 4 minutes, that's alright. That was pretty much how I've done it for the past 2 takes. Because I've had to take 3 takes. This is my 4th or something. Because I fucking suck. Anyways, about my music. So, around 22 hours ago, I asked you guys which one is my heaviest song out of the Flowering Night Death, Bloodlost Death, which you can tell those two are connected, and Life Killer. And it was a surprising low amount of votes for Life Killer, but I will explain why. I actually understand why in a second. Bloodlost Death being second place, which is to be expected. That song was completely, that entire album was completely improvised. It's not until it's not until this album that I've actually written lyrics for my songs. Like, all the songs have written lyrics. Like, I've sat here and actually had to use my brain for like 2 minutes. I mean, it's crazy. Not 2 minutes, more like 30, because that's how much I spend on my songs, like, on just lyrics. I spent 30 minutes probably just going through the song and recording each line, you know. I mean, it's probably even an hour for lyrics, actually, because my songs are pretty long as well. And keep in mind, I have to take multiple takes, especially on songs like The Switch to the World, where I did clean vocals. I had like 15 takes of like each line, like each full sentence, before I was like happy with them, you know, like happy enough to be like, okay, I'll be fine with leaving a not as great song sounding one on, you know, the album, because I don't consider those vocals at all my best. My best are definitely in the metal scream vocals. And then Flowering Night Death, with no surprise at all, being, in your guys' opinion, my heaviest song, which I will explain why I think this makes sense. So, Bloodlust Death, I already explained. I improvised everything in the vocals. That is what I mean, and the lyrics department. And it will also make more sense why I say this in a second. So, Life Killer, it is one of my heaviest songs, in my opinion, like, no doubt, because it is just death metal like that, and has my craziest screams even, probably, but the lyrics are kind of, it's very Cannibal Corpse-like lyrics, and it's a very thin line between the people who think that's the heaviest kind of lyrics and people who thinks it's just Cannibal Corpse. You know what I mean? So, I understand that Life Killer is more of a, you know, it's a niche out there tune with other worldly lyrics, but I did sit down and have to think and use my brain to write them. So I do consider that song, from a lyrical standpoint, I consider it heavier than Bloodlust Death, because I'm pretty sure Bloodlust Death is just me saying random stuff, honestly. And, but Bloodlust Death is 290 BPM, so it kind of gets the boost of heaviness there. And, you know. But Flowering Night Death is probably my most well-written lyrically song, because I mean, it is what I said it is. It's my best lyrically written song in terms of like good songwriting. Like, this song, when I put it on, I actually feel very pleased with how it came out, because I was actually a little scared, because this is my first time writing lyrics, and I decided to do it on extreme death metal at 300 BPM, and I actually have to nail these lyrics that I make. I mean, I was scared to shit about writing these even being good, but I went into my Zen mode, and I pretty much... The thing is, I'm going to explain in this video also some, like, behind-the-scenes stuff of these songs. So, I guess the heaviness, we've covered that now, and we've covered why Flowering Night Death is my heaviest. But let's cover lyrical topics like, what have I written about? So, I'm going to... Wah! Scared myself with my own song. Damn, that's not every day you do. But apart from that, let's see how much we have. That's all right. I'm just checking because I have to upload this and then go outside. Because I plan to have a little bit of an adventure today. So, let's see. We'll start with the first song I wrote lyrics on because hey Satan! I don't know. But I think you get why I say so. So, the Flowering Night Death is essentially a extreme death metal 300 BPM love song. As crazy as it sounds, what I had in mind when I wrote these lyrics is essentially protecting the person you love the most from all the bullshit of the world, which it's not necessarily I'm 14 and this is deep, more like I'm a middle-aged man and this is deep, if you know what I mean. I'm getting old. But it pretty much is what I called it, a death metal love song. Because it is what I said, protecting the most loved one in your life from all the bullshit and all the people who are like threats to them, like people who are like likely to hurt someone you love, you know, protecting them from those kind of people. And the part where I say I feel your same pain every other fucking day is because, much like you, I also deal with those dangerous sort of people almost on a daily, but choose to ignore them because it's just a daily, honestly. And this is more directed at online interaction like every other fucking day than in person. But it's still the same principle. You deal with a lot of people's bullshit. Everyone does that. Everyone deals with people's bullshit, whether they like it or not. And honestly, if you like dealing with other people's bullshit, holy shit, am I jealous of you. Because I don't know how you're doing. But, and then after that, the lyric, I strive towards bettering, but people fucking suck. And this is sort of the point where I take a shot at cancel culture in a sense. Not cancel culture, but the close-mindedness of almost everyone today in this modern society, where like you trying to become a better person, but people are so focused on the bad things you did 5 years ago, where they don't even care that you're trying to be a better person in your current. And that's sort of what that is about, just that line. But here's the direction at the loved one. You say one thing they don't, well, you say one fucking thing they don't like, you do one fucking thing they don't do, all of a sudden, you are the fucking villain. And what I mean by that is actually, if you, well, probably the only loved one that's watching this is my boyfriend, because I'm probably watching this video with him. In that case, if you do one thing others don't like, or say one thing, no, if you say one thing others don't like, and you do something others don't do, all of a sudden, people look at you with a weird look because you're different. And I'm not even talking about, like, being gay or something like that. I mean, like, even as simple as saying something online that's, like, a joke, people can go so fast from it being a joke to turning around and calling you, like, basically Hitler. And and literally comparing you to Hitler. Like, comparing a person to someone who mass murdered a bunch of people over a joke. But that's basically the thing, and you do one thing they don't do, which also kind of ties in with saying something, because that's a doing. Saying is a doing, you know? So it ties in together, but doing something they don't do, like, even as simple, like, take an example. In America, if you have a pineapple pizza, people act like you're like a disgusting hellspawn for some reason and judge you because of, and like they judge you on a personal level because of the food you enjoy. Like as if the food you enjoy actually describe your personality in any way possible. Like, it's not necessarily the truth. Like, unless you're strictly a meat eater or a vegan, the food you eat doesn't really dictate what you are as a person. Especially not for me, because if I was anything like the thing I eat burgers, pizzas, tacos, and burgers, and hot dogs, but mostly burgers, I'd be an American. But clearly, I'm not an American. So, that's like, I mean, I literally probably went on for like 5 minutes just explaining that line. And then, I mean, I say things like, it makes me feel like ripping my spine, strangling my throat, it just never makes any fucking sense. Which, I mean, yeah, you get that, you know, it makes you depressed knowing that people in the same universe are like this, and you kind of just want to go bye-bye and disappear from this world and not exist close to anyone like this. And unfortunately, I actually live in an apartment with one of these people that makes me feel this way, so... Woo! And then here's the part of the thing that actually takes this from just a song about the world, society being fucked up, to a love song. Because it says, so listen to me, we will get through this together, implying I'm talking to the person I love, saying that them and I will just get through all this bullshit together. I mean, it's pretty fucking straightforward what that means. If you don't understand that, you're probably retarded. Sorry, but it's true. We'll get revenge on every single motherfucker, which is obviously an exaggeration, but getting through this together and getting revenge sort of is tying into each other, but revenge in this case more so means what's it called? I know what I'm thinking in my head, I just don't know how to translate it into English. It's more so not getting revenge, but showing that you're the better person in this all and coming out on top in a sense, sort of. And then I say, so please take my hand, so please take my word, I will protect you with my life, blah blah blah, throwing night death. Which, I mean, please take my hands, please take my word. The take my hand makes sense, you know. Take my hand and, you know, we'll walk through the fucking shit together, hand in hand. But please take my word means, basically, trust me. That's basically what I'm trying to say with that. And I'm pretty sure I will protect you with my life is straightforward enough for you to understand what that means. But in case you didn't, which if you're watching my channel, I question your sanity a lot, so that means I am protecting you. And then the second verse is, life is a struggle, life is a pain, obvious fucking shit. No shit, Sherlock. Work hard for days and still get nothing but shit, which is unfortunately the truth about even getting a job today. Because in my experience, I had to work for a solid month for free, without getting paid. And that didn't sit well with me. I think I didn't make this song when I did this, but it happened. I literally wrote that line, and then it happened afterwards. When I get nothing but shit. Because I kind of got told a bunch of bullshit like, oh, you're not doing this, you're not doing that. Well, I'm also not getting paid for what I'm doing. So, you know, obviously, if you get tricked, because I wasn't necessarily going into that job knowing that I wouldn't be paid for the first month. I was going into that job getting told that I was getting a job. I was told basically that I would make money there. They literally just lied and said I would make money. And then when I asked about it, they called me basically a fucking stupid idiot and told me to fuck myself, essentially. They could have just said that, because what they said was, oh, you probably missed how our system works, because that's not what we said at the meeting, but that's exactly what you fucking said at the meeting, you fucking hippie. And, yeah, and then I worked for an entire month for free, and I didn't want to, because why would I want to work for a month for free? Like, no money for work? Like, I was literally working my ass off on that job the first week, you know, and then I get told I'm not gonna make money for the hard work I'm putting into this grocery store. And keep in mind, others probably take it a little easy, but I'm the type of guy, I'll take the heaviest thing in the fucking to-do, like in the cart that you have and go around in the store when you put it up on shelves. I'll take the heaviest thing and run to the shelf it's supposed to be. You know, I'm like that. I'm speedrunning this shit and I'm pushing as much as I can because I want to get shit done. You know? But when I get told that I'm putting all the extra effort in, for even if it was just a week, that extra effort, I hadn't had a job for like months since December, and then started working in April, you know, and then I go in and put an extra, you know, set of coal on it, and you know, and then I get told, oh no, you're just an idiot. Where are you gonna get this? But, so obviously I stopped really caring about the job, but then I got told that I stopped caring about the job, and it's like, no shit, I'm not doing as well when I got told I didn't make money from this shit. And then the next lyric is just to get by with all these taxes. It implies that you have to do so much hard work to get even the smallest amount of pay, and especially in America, I feel like this is a truth. This is my cat, by the way. You can say hi to Kitty. She just came into my room when I was talking. I'll put her on my bed and see if she wants to be there. She's thinking. Okay. Anyways, back to lyrics instead of cats. Okay, 24 minutes. That's alright. I don't care about the video being long. I'm just checking how long. But yeah, getting a small pay, we get that. You have to sell your motherfucking soul to some bald fuck. And what I mean by that is literally every leader today is some bald guy that everyone likes thinking he's gonna be great, but you already know he's gonna be shit. And this is definitely the case for America right now. People claiming, oh, Joe Biden, no, Joe Biden, but where's the free healthcare for the American citizens? Where's the free scholarship for college students? Huh? If Biden is so great, why does school still cost thousands of dollars? if Biden is so great, why do medical bills cost thousands of dollars, huh? Exactly. It's not an impossibility. In Canada, in Sweden, multiple other countries, there's free school and free... I don't know about Canada, but I know there's free healthcare, and in Sweden there's free school. Why should we have to pay for healthcare and school when... You know, it's bullshit, you know? That is, and the thing is, why I'm ranting about that is because in America, not only do you have to pay for school and also the, what's it called? Healthcare. You also pay the taxes for healthcare and school. Which is bullshit, because in Sweden you only pay the taxes and you don't actually pay school and healthcare. The only healthcare fee you have is a small fee, but that's like a $20 fee, which is like once in a long time. I think it's like a yearly fee, maybe even. I don't remember, don't take my word for it, but I know it's like $20. And if you think $20 is too much in case you get your fucking neck snapped and need it realigned, honestly, just get your neck snapped. But, you know, still, it's still a lot better than America's system in terms of healthcare, and Joe Biden being a fucking sack of bald, old fucking falling over stairs sack of balls. And then it's just me screaming, fuck no. And then it's a repeat of the pre-chorus, but in this one I say, you say one thing to them at their face, which you mean, this is when it's in person. You meet a terrible person in person, that you say one thing they don't like in person. You say one fucking thing to their soul, which implies about the same thing. All of a sudden you don't deserve your human rights, which is a common misconception that I mean, people are so quick to go like, oh, you said this to my face, you don't deserve rights as a human being because of you saying this word that I didn't like, or this joke that I didn't like. And people start going around and telling others that you're this terrible person and that you're this misinformation person that's just an outcast and not belonging in this place. And this is all because of saying and doing things that aren't necessarily wrong, but people think they are wrong because they have a misconception because their country raised them like pussies. And then I said it makes me feel like ripping my eyes, stabbing my heart, never makes any fucking sense. You know, as usual. And then I say, so listen to me, this is the same chorus, you know, you get that. And then there's a very mad breakdown, where it's like tearing their arms out, tearing their hearts out. It's all I can think of with their fucking lies. Because with all the people lying, you tend to have these thoughts that, you know, if someone knew you had them, they would call you a madman. But you're allowed to have these thoughts in silence and tell them to your closest loved ones. But as long as you tell them to a stranger, they think you're a psychopath. But it's, honestly to me, it's not that outlandishly to think of tearing someone's arms and ripping their hearts out. Considering how fucking hard some people go with their lies today. Some people will literally say that someone's this terrible person that did this absolutely horrid thing, but then because they want attention on the internet, but then get exposed for it later and then start hiding. but the damage has already been done. The person's life, even if it wasn't permanently, even if it was only temporary, you've still ruined that person's life for a moment of time. It doesn't matter if it's just a short amount of time, as soon as you say that in public, it's obviously for attention. If you think someone has done a crime, don't go on Twitter or Facebook and make an expose, call-out post on them. Go to the actual police and report them if you think they've committed a crime. Don't go to Twitter police. Twitter people can only go and harass them online, which is arguably much worse than actually reporting them to an authority if you think they've committed a crime. If they haven't committed a crime, don't make a Twitter post either about them, because you're just ruining their life for your own attention because you're a little sad piece of shit. And then people will go and blame it on like power trip. I don't know what's it called, because people blame it on power abuse when it's really the person exposing them that's the power abuse. You know, the person abusing their power, because they have the screenshots. They're the ones who are the person victimized, and they can blame the person because they know it's just a gamer who's a nerd, who has imposter syndrome, and he's scared of literally everyone he meets on the street, essentially, because he's socially awkward. But he's a fine person. He's a good lad. He's not a bad person. He's a nice guy in reality that you like, but this other person doesn't like them, so they decide to ruin their lives for internet points, and then when they're called out on it and be like, oh, I guess I was wrong, bye bye, see ya, and deactivate their account. You know, they never get any shit for it. They get out of it just fine, even when proved wrong. They just get out and have no backlash whatsoever. Sure, there's obviously gonna always be people harassing them as well, like the people who are very edgy online. But that's to be expected. That happens to literally me and everyone, and you and my dad and my fucking grandpa that's actually even dead. I mean, you can't even escape. I mean, that's literally true. My grandpa that's dead probably even has been exposed on the internet, because Genghis Khan was exposed on the internet thousands of years after he died, you know? So, then when I put the lyric, don't be surprised if when you shame someone they yell, she knew, she knew, she knew, because I want to include some Japanese, because I tried to incorporate Japanese in this, which I remember now, I didn't do that in Life Killer, but oh well, that's fine. It's Toho cover still, which means die. If someone yells die at you after you shame someone, what I mean by shame someone is what I just explained and ranted about, because it's really something pissy, you know? And then the chorus, you know, and then the outro. Now, let's get on a simpler song. The Switch to the World, which you think is just a song about Cyrano with imaginary lyrics, wrong. So, out in the dark forests I wander and think to myself, will I make it? My soul feels gone, don't know how I got here. It is so cold, yet I'm still alive. This is not a story of someone walking in a cold, wintry forest. This is actually also pretty much a love song that relates to me and my boyfriend. More so than Flowering Night Death, because this one is literally a song about how it felt to experience my boyfriend coming into my life, because of what kind of situation I was in mentally beforehand. So what does out in the dark forests? Out in the dark forests, I wander and think to myself, will I make it? What does this mean? This is more so in my brain mentally, I was in a dark forest alone, and you can kind of get that gist if you think about it in the next lyrics that says, "My soul feels gone, don't know how I got here. It is so cold, yet I'm still alive." It's sort of like hinting at the fact that you tend to, when you're in this kind of mental state, you're so depressed that you feel like your body is dead and cold, but you're still alive somehow. And this is like more mind stuff and mental stuff, this next part, where I say, "I see a house, it seems to be empty. I go inside with no surprise, because there's nothing in the house." And this is still in my head. I tried to search for, like, keep in mind, we're talking about, like, 2020, like, October, when it was, like, the darkest time of my life, essentially. September, October, sort of. This is me, like, reflecting back on how I felt, essentially. So, I see a house, it seems to be empty, I go inside with no surprise, is me basically explaining how it felt, literally looking for anything to be happy about. Because I was lonely, I didn't have anyone to depend on at the time, and I didn't have anyone to sort of emotionally support me. So I was in a very terrible mental state where I literally, in my brain, tried to search for literally anything, like an empty house, but going inside the empty house leaves you with no surprise because the empty house is empty, you know? So it's about struggling to find a happy thought in your head, and where did they go, what really happened that night that we all forgot our names. Hints at where did they go, what really happened, and we all sort of hints at like a multiple personality disorder, but not quite. Because that's why I say the night that we all forgot our names. Because all of my personalities just disappeared with the emptiness that was left inside me, and it was almost like I forgot my own name. And where did they go? Who knows? And then the next lyrics, "So I reach my hand to see if there's hope, and in the distance I hear a female voice shouting at me, I am your savior cold." The reason I wrote this as a female, and like that, and about Cyrano is because it's the Cyrano theme. I just wanted to have the theme around Touhou, really. So, basically just replace Cyrano with not a shouting voice, but, you know, it kind of makes more tension to put that the voice is shouting at you. Because, so I reach my hand to see if there's hope. It's basically, I grab a hold of myself and, you know, I grab the last bit of sense that's in my brain to see if there's hope. And then in the distance, which not necessarily in the distance, it's far away, but you know, it's from another part of the world. This boy comes out from nowhere into my life and starts talking to me, but it's, you know, as I said, more tension in this song with shouting. And he didn't say I'm your savior cold, but he did come into my life and talk to me and sort of distracted me from any dark mind demons and mind ghosts that was spooking me, and essentially lifting up sort of personalities inside of me, sort of like reviving people inside of me, like all the personalities but that was just lost, sort of reviving that. And then it's just describing the Cyrano, but you know, that you can replace with a boy with long hair, and she'd come here to look out for me forever. Essentially, that means that he has come into my life to stay in my life and be here for me, which is pretty understandable now that I've told you what the song is about. And she took my hand in hers to fly away. It was so soft I mistook her for an angel, but she insists he's only her own hero. It's more of, I wanted to make it seem a little harder to do the mind jumps of the, you know, the mind games, the mind gymnastics you have to do to understand the lyrics. She took my hands in hers and flight away. Essentially means he took my hand and picked me up from where I was down on the ground, and then we flied away. But if we picture flying away as if the lowest point where I'm at, where he picks me up from and flies up into the sky from, is depression. And when he flies me up into, you know, my mood going up into happiness. And because of that, you know, you mistake them for a miracle, but it's just a person that you were meant to meet, you know? We all have that person that's meant for us, and that's what I describe, that she is only her own hero, he is only his own hero, because in his mind, my boyfriend is just, you know, he's just his own person, he's just being himself, he doesn't want to be a terrible person, which is why he's nice, you know? It makes sense. But to me, him being kind means so much more because I haven't experienced that in so long, and I fall in love, and you know, it's getting hot in here. And you know, I repeat the first thing, and then I say the next verse. Now we arrived at a portal, and she told me, don't be afraid, it's only going to take us where we need to go to fix all this. Essentially is like in my brain what happened when my boyfriend came in. It was like going through the portal, going through to a new world, which I say here in the next thing. When we go through, we are presented with a whole new world that looks so clear, which is basically how it felt where my boyfriend came into my life and became my boyfriend, you know? He picked me up from my sad and depressing thoughts and gave me some light in my life because he's pretty awesome and pretty cute. And, you know, made me feel happy. And then I say it is bright blue and always shining high, so I ask, is this heaven? Which is sort of just describing, like, because before the skies would look gray and dark and gloomy, you know, not happy. Bright blue shining high is basically a bright sunny sky, you know, happiness. It's basically a way to describe how you're becoming happy, but you haven't been happy genuinely in so long that it feels like a completely new experience. So you ask, is this heaven? And then she looks at me and shakes her head. It's not heaven, it's actually more. Here we will find the switch to the world, just trust me. It would undo it all and avoid any other nuisance. Which means, simple enough, my boyfriend coming and just being himself, really. It's just me being himself, and the switch to the world is essentially what makes the world go from gray to bright blue skies. and me being happy. Me depressed to me being happy, like a switch. Because he comes into my life and, you know, turns the switch, and pretty understandable, pretty easy. And avoid any other nuisance, essentially with the power of love, which is greater than all. He can be by my side and help me avoid being bothered by nuisances and annoying opinions and of people that just, you know, are pressed over everything. And my parents' situation, which is pretty awesome. So we hit the switch and time goes back in place. Before my eyes looked like I'm in space. It was unreal, but I trusted her with my life. Essentially, is what it feels transitioning from a depression to being really happy and like that. Because when I was at least when I was depressed, I could see a lot of mental. Where's my cat gone? Just went under bed. I could see a lot of mental imagery all the time in front of my eyes, just going like this, just flashing images of terrible, dark things that I don't want to mention because I can't. Probably get my channel removed. But the part where I say it feels like I'm in space is where it's like flashing in my eyes just during the part where I go from being super depressed and happy. It's like flashing before my eyes, like I'm thinking about all these times that just happened, like a couple times ago, weeks or so, where I was super sad, and how now I'm getting so happy I can barely handle it, you know? And it feels sort of unreal because of what I explained before with being so long ago, but I trusted him with my life, essentially. Which is basically just me saying I trust him. You know? And we finally see time get back in place, and all those that I love, they're all just like there, and as if nothing happened to us at all. And by that I mean, because this felt a little unreal to me, that someone would actually come into my life and genuinely care about me as much as he does. When I actually am back to a normal state where I'm actually able to handle my happiness, it's like when it's all back in place, all those that I love, being him, he's right there. He's right there for me, and it's not a dream, but it felt like it was a dream because it felt so unreal. And because I'm so happy now and love him and I'm in love forever, it feels like I was never depressed at all. I just needed the guidance, you know? And then I do the funny thing with Kyou wa dansu kusushimasu, you know, which basically means today we will fucking dance. You know, it's just a funny line. But then, fortunately, Sirna could stay with me since we came to like each other quite. We ended up settling down in the village, and eventually we tried to propose to each. We ended up getting married, and so the story ends, but a legacy must live on and on. Which basically means us getting into a relationship, and in the future, we're probably not gonna get married because that's a waste of money and time. But, you know, it makes sense to write this out in the text. It makes a lot of sense because of like the setting and the story and how it works, and it works a lot better than just saying we got in a relationship. We settled and proposed to each and getting married, and so the story ends, but legacy must live on, because in the sense of legacy means to me the fact that he is my hero and he helped me must live on. His legacy as like an upper being to me, even though he's younger than me, He's like an upper being to me that came down like an angel and saved my life. And that part of him must live on as a memory. Like, I will always remember that he helped me greatly and made me feel good about myself. And then, you know, now we're the kings of all this wasted land that we turn back into a paradise, which implies that, you know, we together, obviously, because I had to, you know, work with him and obviously be willing to be happy, you know, which obviously I was. So together we became what we are now, boyfriend and boyfriend, and, you know, turned life into a paradise, essentially. And there's nothing without our power that can stop us. We are in love and will forever be. We trust both each in our biggest hearts, which, it sounds weird to say in our biggest hearts, and implies that there's multiple, but I mean, like, our hearts are big right now when we're in love because they're pulsating with extra blood pressure, so they're expanding in a sense, not literally because that would be dangerous, but you know. And there's nothing with our power that can stop us, I repeat, which means there's nothing greater than us that can stop us from loving each other, which doesn't mean there isn't anything greater than us, because there are people who have more authority than us, but they can't stop us from loving each other. Essentially, is what that means. So, there you have two of my most well-written songs. If you want me to do a video like this, explaining Life Killer, tell me in the comments below. And, you know, you've been watching Suicidal Grind, and and I've been Suicidal Grind, and you've been watching me talk about my songs and the lyrics and the behind the scenes of the lyrics. And yeah, you know the motto, stay cute.